it's your turn. It is the soldier, not the minister, who gives us the freedom of religion. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who gives us the freedom to protest. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the soldier, not a politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protester to burn the flag. Quilts of Valor is a grassroots organization that was founded in 2003 by a woman by the name of Catherine Roberts. Catherine's son Nate was stationed over in Iraq, and she was always 10 seconds away from panic, and she had a dream one night. And she saw a soldier sitting on his bunk battling his war demons. And the next scene, she saw him comforted, and he had a quilt around his shoulders. Our foundation represents one human being reaching out and touching another without judgment, reaching out with acceptance and acknowledgement of service to our nation in very trying circumstances. Our quilts are awarded, they're just not handed out like magazines or videos. And as of last night, we've awarded 177,105 quilts in 14 years. Our quilts bring a three-part message from our hearts. First, we honor you for your service. We honor you for leaving all that you held dear to stand in harm's way in a time of crisis, protecting us from the effects of war. Next, our quilters know that freedom is not free. The cost of our freedom is the dedication of the lives of men and women like you, and this quilt is meant to say thank you for your sacrifice. And finally, this quilt is meant to offer comfort to you and to remind you that although your family and friends cannot always be with you, you are forever in our thoughts and prayers. Little side story, my mother and Daddy were 4 days from getting married. Daddy was stationed in Fort Bragg, Mother was in Nashville, Tennessee. My mother gets a telegram that says, cancel all wedding plans. We'll call later. 2:30 the next morning, my mother received a phone call from my daddy. He says, I've got orders. I'll not marry you. I'll not make you a wartime bride. Daddy was sent to Korea. It was 1950. Daddy served 13 months. They altered my mother's wedding dress down twice. When Daddy was being transferred from one part of Korea to the other, he was on the last or the next to the last ship, and the Chinese were literally over the hill. He got stateside in California, called my mother and said, when are we getting married? She says, how soon can you come home? 21 days later, they were married, and they lapped from June the 24th to September the 21st, being married 42 years. Wow. Daddy died in 93. I can't wrap my daddy, so this is the next best thing. For those of us who have never seen battle or conflict, those experiences are beyond our capacity to comprehend. We believe the quilts we bring you today have the ability to offer you warmth and comfort. We hope that when you experience a dark time or need the warmth of a grateful hug, you will wrap your quilt around you so it can provide you the comfort we have sown and never seen. We expect you to use this quilt. It's not to be hung on a wall or put in a display case. This quilt comes with a lifetime guarantee. If it wears out, we will replace it. A Quilt of Valor is not a charity quilt. It's not a blanket. And I know there's a bunch of quilters in here. So you know that a quilt consists of 3 layers held together by quilting stitches. We think of the layers in this way. The top of the quilt, with its many colors, shapes, and fabrics, represents the communities and the many individuals of Quilts of Valor, and there is over 8,000 of us across the United States and Canada. The batting, the center, is the warmth of the quilt. It represents our hope that this quilt will bring warmth, comfort, peace, and healing to the individual who receives it. The backing is the strength that supports the other layers. It represents the strength of the recipient, the support of his or her family, our communities, and our nation. Each stitch that holds the layers together represent love, gratitude, and sometimes the tears of the maker. On each quilt is a label, and there is a note that accompanies the quilt as a thank you. And as of today, the story of this quilt becomes your story. We hope you will keep this quilt with you as a tangible reminder that there are thousands of men and women across the land that are forever in your debt. And your quilt was made by your two sisters.
I figured so.
Thousands of quilters all over the United States work daily to create quilts to cover our warriors from all conflicts, including World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Each quilt of valor is formed by loving hands that joins bits and pieces of fabric together one piece at a time. A quilt of valor may be fashioned by one or two individuals, or could come through combined efforts of many men and women of all skill levels. And we actually have men that quilt for us now. I found out in July, when I was at our national conference, there was a woman who, when she joined, her husband said, "I'll take you wherever you go. I'll be your chauffeur." He said, "That's all I want to do." She said, "Okay." And it wasn't long, and he wanted to know how to use a rotary cutter and a mount. Wasn't long, he wanted to know how to quilt. They went out and bought him a sewing machine. They then went out and bought a long arm, several $1,000s, and when his demons start after him, he goes and quilts. As we quilt, we talk about our family and friends and how grateful we are to those who will be receiving what we call our quilty hug when we wrap you in your quilt of valor. Now, through this quilt, you become part of our quilting family. Now, Mr. Paul, this is the part that's always the toughest for me, and I have to take a deep breath and swallow really hard. On behalf of the Quilts of Valor and a grateful nation, and it's with deepest appreciation, we've wrapped you in your Quilts of Valor, sir. And most importantly, welcome home.
Thank you.
One more quick poem. That's right, you got to give a hug. I'll get my hug in a little bit. And this is directly to you. Pieces of cloth from people who care to honor your service, it only seems fair. Carefully chosen materials of red, white, and blue, sewn together for those patriotic and true. A top piece together with caring and pride, then quilted with backing and a warm layer inside. Every stitch and seam sewn from the very start, with appreciation and gratitude straight from the heart. For you who have sacrificed for those here at home, may this quilt warm and comfort you wherever you roam. Our hope with this quilt is to make sure you know we've appreciated all you've done and all you've been through. So,